Dog Mom Knits YouTube channel. My name is Amanda, and you can find me on Instagram as Dog Mom Knits, on Ravelry as Dog Mom Knits 08, and we do have an email address for this podcast, and that is dogmomknits@gmail.com. I am coming to you from coastal Virginia, where I live with my husband, Sean, our dogs, Copper and Finley, and our exchange student, Daria. This is a crafty podcast where I talk all about my yarny adventures. It's all knitting. I did at one point have an idea of learning how to crochet. I'm a knitter. I'm definitely a knitter. I will have links to everything that I talk about in my Ravelry project page in the Dropbox down below. But if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Welcome to any new viewers who are coming to the podcast for the first time. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you like what you see. And thank you so much to my returning viewers. It has been a hot minute. And by a hot minute, I mean 6 weeks. The last time I posted a video on this channel was February 15th when I finished opening my 3 Tulips Yarn Co. February Advent. My last podcast was at the end of January. Tell me you're a teacher in the spring without telling me you're a teacher in the spring. There it is. So yeah, I have a lot to talk to you about. I've got my notes down here in front of me, my notebook I showed earlier in the year, but I got this on Amazon. So I do have my notes down here in front of me, and yeah, let's just get started and see how long this ends up. What I'm wearing, this is a kind of a neutral rainbow. It has a yarn ball in the middle, and it says Christian Knitter. This is from my Spreadshirt shop, which I will have linked down below. I have a few different varieties of this, same rainbow, different center, for crocheting, knitting, sewing, and just crafting in general. I also have a Dog Mom Life for crocheters and knitters. And again, that's linked down below. I love it. This t-shirt is so soft, and it's finally warmed up here. It took a while to get spring, but spring has sprung clearly because you can see the sunburn. Yeah, so I love this shirt. I love that I can wear it and profess my faith, which is super important to me, and my hobby that I love so much. So that's what I'm wearing. Where have I been? Because I have been getting that question. Thank you so much to everybody who reached out and was just like, hey, are you okay? Haven't seen you on YouTube in a while. Yeah, it was crazy. The last time I recorded, which was the first 2 weeks of February, if you watched those vlogs, by the end of it, I had no voice. That lasted for about another week and a half. It really wasn't until the end of February that I got my voice back and that I could talk without coughing, which if you're a middle school English teacher is no bueno. Like, it's, that's my job. It's chalk. And it was an adventure teaching the last 2 weeks of February. And then we went straight into preparing for the spring musical at my school, which I help out with. The students performed The Music Man, the full Broadway version. It was amazing. If I do say so myself, our Harold Hill was better than Hugh Jackman. I'm a little biased though. And our Marion, Sutton Foster's great, but they were so good. The students are so talented, and their director and music director bring so much out from them. It's just a lot. And I don't think I knit much, if anything, from the middle of February when I got sick until the middle of March when show week was over. So not only did I just not have time or a voice to record, I didn't have anything to show anyway. Sorry, I'm drinking from my Amanda cup. I love this thing. Sparkly rainbow is my favorite color. I just have water. So yeah, I really didn't have anything to show. So I couldn't really, I mean, I could have, come on and talk to you if I had had time, but I didn't. And then I'm rambling. I'm so sorry, guys. I got distracted by Copper, who just walked past. That's all it takes is just, whatever. It's fine. This past week was spring break. And last Sunday, the 26th, I should say I'm recording on April 2nd. Today is Sunday, April 2nd. This past week was spring break, and last Sunday was the Knit for Food Knit-a-thon hosted by Laura Nelkin. And those two things combined just gave me tons and tons of knitting time. So you're going to see a lot of, I've got 3 finished objects, 4 finished objects, 3 of them were finished in the last week. No, I'm sorry. It's 5. 5 finished objects. 4 of which were finished between March 26th and now. So last Sunday and this Sunday. Because I finally had the brain space and the time to sit down and knit. The sunburn is, lovely and amazing. My arms kind of lightened up a little bit this morning. My forehead is where it's really bad. We took Daria, our exchange student, to Washington, D.C. yesterday, and it was rainy and bleh in the morning. And then in the afternoon, it wasn't. And we walked around the monuments, and it's like a 2-mile walk if you have never been to D.C. Super worth it. But, it's early enough in the season and it's been cold enough lately that I didn't even think about needing sunscreen until it was too late. And here we are, dealing with the fact that I am now sunburned. So it's fine. Isn't that what you're supposed to do on spring break? Go out in the sun and come back to school sunburnt. I don't know. I feel like all my kids are going to come back to school tomorrow sunburnt. Or tan if they're lucky enough to tan. I'm not lucky enough to tan. I go from lobster to Casper. I start off Casper. And then I burn, become lobster, and I go back to Casper. No tanning in my life. That's what it is. All right. So that's it for kind of the introduction. So let's start with the 5. Could not even believe it's 5. 5 finished objects. So my first finished object that I'm going to show you, these are not in the order that they were finished. They're just in the order they were in my podcasting basket, which is sitting right there. This is my corner to corner blanket. Let me hold it up this way so you can see where I started. This is the corner to corner blanket that I knit using the leftovers of my 2022 Blush Yarns Advent. I love how it turned out. It's the perfect size for who I'm going to gift it to, which I am keeping a secret in case they are watching. Trying to pan it around so that you guys can see it. I do have notes on my project page, but essentially what I did is I cast on 3 stitches. I increased 1 stitch every row until I had used half of my yarn. And then I started decreasing 1 stitch every row until I got back to 3 stitches, and then I bound off. The Blush Yarns Advent is a 20-gram, it was a 20-gram mini each day. So I separated them into 2 10-gram balls and knit the first 10 grams into a wallop cowl and showed that off during Vlogmas, and then knit the other 10 into a blanket. And I love it. The ends are woven in. The only thing I haven't done is wash it, but it's garter stitch. So I will wash it, but that's just because I'm gifting it, but I don't think it's like super necessary. But again, all my notes are in my progress, or excuse me, on my Ravelry page. I used a US 6 just because that's what I had used on my wallop cowl. And I loved the fabric that it gave me. And this is just so bouncy and squishy because it's just garter stitch. And I absolutely love it. And I love that I used up every last bit of that advent. I have no leftovers. So that's exciting. This, I started this, I did write that down just in case you guys were interested. I started this on January 1st of 2023 and finished it on March 26th of 2023. That's when I wove in the ends because I don't consider something finished until the ends are woven in. So this is my corner to corner blanket, Blush Yarns Advent. I absolutely love it. And I hope the recipient likes it. I think they will. I love this. Okay, so I'm going to put it over there so the dogs can't get to it. Forgive me for reaching. So that's finished object number 1. Finished object number 2 is a pair of socks. This is the Sweet Shop socks in the DK weight. My mom, from 3 by the Sea Designs, sorry. My mom got me this yarn for Christmas because she knows how much I love 3 by the Sea. And when she bought it, she did not realize there was a difference between DK weight and fingering weight, which I think is so fun. That she wanted to buy me yarn, but she doesn't really, like, she doesn't knit. So, but I've wanted to knit DK weight socks. I have DK weight in there. That's all my, well, this and this is all sock yarn. This is fingering weight yarn that isn't sock yarn, but this and this are full of sock yarn. And so, and there is some DK weight in there, but I have wanted to knit with it. And so I thought it was super sweet that my mom got me yarn, but then also got me like DK weight yarn. Anyway, this is the Sweet Shop colorway by 3 by the Sea Designs. I followed the vanilla socks, vanilla DK weight socks by the Crazy Sock Lady. I did 15 rounds for the cuff, 40 rounds for the leg. No, I'm sorry. 12 rounds for the cuff, which is what she calls for in the pattern. 40 rounds for the leg. She says to do 30, but I like a little bit of a longer sock, and 30 just felt like it was going to be too short. And then I did the heel flap and gusset that's called for in the pattern. And then I knit down the foot until my sock ruler told me to stop. And then I knit the toe that is in the pattern. The first sock, and I'm not sure which one it is, the first sock was knit a lot at some basketball games at my school, because I had been knitting a muscle burrow for a while at the games and was just getting a little bored with them. So I switched over to knitting my socks, and then I was working on them at home a little bit. And then last Sunday during the knit-a-thon, this is what I pulled out to work on first. So I started these socks on February 4th of 2023 and finished them on March 26th of 2023. I did initially start knitting them on a US 3 in January, and realized that I had gotten the leg done of one of them and realized that they were going to be too tight, because I am a tight knitter. I usually have to go up a needle size for everything that I knit. Like I knit all my socks on a US 1.5, and I know most knitters, at least most podcasters that I follow, say they do a US 1 or even a US 0, but I'm a US 1.5. So I ended up having to go up to a US 4 for these socks, and that's this pair that I started on the 4th. I don't remember when I started the 3rd, the US 3 size. It might be on my Ravelry page. But I love this yarn. I love how the socks turned out, and I am so excited to knit another pair of DK weight socks, because I don't know what I was expecting. But they're not as thick as I thought they would be, but they are going to be so warm in winter. So I do not anticipate wearing these anytime soon. I do wear my hand knit socks at home all the time. But these I think are going to be a little too thick for wearing around the house right now. Now that spring has officially sprung, but, I definitely think next winter I want to have a couple of DK weight socks so that, I can wear them when it's cold outside. So I'll move it up close so you can see it's orange and pink with that green, like mint green, and it is it's just stunning. And I have not talked about these in a while. Let me turn it so you can see it. My sock blockers, the two pairs that I use the most are both from Woodico. These are made in Ukraine. You can get them on Etsy. I do not know, with the invasion and the war going on, if the shop is still open. I haven't checked, but these are my absolute favorite sock blockers. And when I want a new pair, I'm just going to be back to them. So I will have them linked down below. But again, I don't know if they're, like, if the shop is open right now, given the state of things. Okay. My next finished object is another pair of socks. These are, and the pins that are on here are going to make a little bit of noise, so I apologize for that. These are my, okay, hold on, let me back up. The yarn is Desert Vista Dye Works Fried Green Tomatoes, and the pattern is Rhinebeck is Calling by the Crazy Sock Lady. I love this yarn. I love this movie. I love this pattern. So everything about this just makes me really happy. I started these socks on October 14th of 2022, which was the day that we left to go to Rhinebeck in the fall. And I finished them on March 26th, 2023. I had all but, I think it was like 20 rows of the foot and one toe. And then October ended and I put them aside and I didn't pick them up again until I was planning what I was going to knit during the knit-a-thon, and was like, these are so close. Like, I could literally knock these out in one Zoom session, which is exactly what happened. I love this pattern. It is, I had to look at the pattern, so I wouldn't say that it was mindless, but it was more just to remind me, like, okay, when do I start the pattern for that row? But I love how it looks in the self-striping yarn. Like, I just think it's so pretty. And Kay said it reminded her of Rhinebeck, and I agree. Like, to me, this looks like the vines that grow up the trees, these three panels right here. So anyway, I just think it's beautiful. Like, I love it. I loved knitting it. I'm sorry that it took me so long to finish them, but that's okay. Again, Woodico sock blockers, this time with a sheep. And then the jingling that you heard, when my best friend and Sean and I went to Pittsburgh 2 summers ago, we were a week early for the Steel Valley Yarn Crawl, but we were able to get pins or charms from each of the shops. And so I put them on a cord and then hung them on my sock blockers so that I could see them and be reminded of my bestie. And I'm so excited. We are going back to Pittsburgh this summer with my bestie. She will be meeting us there. My best friend Jenny lives in Wisconsin, if you are new here. And we are planning on going back to Pittsburgh. This time we are going for 2 weeks. We're going to do lots of knitting and touristy stuff and just have some really good bestie time. And I'm really, really excited about it. So my next two finished objects kind of go together. So I am participating in the year of dishcloths with the kitchen sink shop. And so every month she emails a different pattern for a dishcloth that is, the theme this year is sweet treats. So I have February's and March's to show you. So this was February. It's called Linzer Cookie. And it's got this super cute little heart there in the center. And I knit this out of Knit Picks Dishy in the mulberry colorway. And I just thought this was so cute. The way it knitted up super fast, though this was part of the fact that I didn't knit for a while. I started this on February 4th and finished it on February 27th because, again, February got away from me. It was so did March. So this was February's dishcloth, and I did knit March's dishcloth. This is same kitchen sink shop, year of dishcloths. This is the biscotti dishcloth. It's got beautiful twisted stitches. She had an amazing tutorial that she sent out with it. And this is in Knit Picks Dishy in the mushroom colorway. So I love it. I think this one feels like it's going to be super scrubby, like the way the raised stitches are. And then this is what the back of this one looks like. Love it. Love them. So she did send out April's yesterday. She sends out, if you sign up for her newsletter, she sends out the pattern on the 1st of every month, and it's free, which is super impressive to me. I think it said it was Easter egg cookies, but it looks really fun. And I have a beautiful, I don't have it over here, but I have a beautiful yellow from Knit Picks Dishy that I think would be perfect for the April washcloth and the kind of spring vibe that she's going for. So that is upcoming for April. I'm not sure when I will knit it because I have a test knit that I'm working on that I just realized I forgot to grab. I'll pause and grab that in just a second. But yeah, so 5 finished objects: blanket, 2 pairs of socks, 2 dishcloths. It seems totally reasonable that I would have that many, considering I haven't podcasted since the end of January. And yet this I started on March 27th and finished on March 29th. So Monday to Wednesday. And look at these end dates: March 26th, March 26th, March 26th, February 27th, and March 29th. Because, guys, seriously, tell me you're a teacher in the spring without telling me you're a teacher in the spring. Copper just came over near me and laid down and went foop and just flopped on the floor. And he's going to sleep. Copper is our beagle. If you are new here, I probably put pictures in the front of the dogs. That's what I usually do. And Finley is our beagle dachshund mix. She's over in the bed that they both share. It used to be Bandit's bed, but she's over there. They were in their crate yesterday while we were up in DC. So they are enjoying kind of a lazy day today. So before I finish up with my works in progress, I want to show you guys my year goals. So one of my year goals is to use 2,023 grams of stash yarn. That is not going well at all. I have only pulled one skein of yarn out of stash to use because I have not been casting anything on because I haven't been knitting. So I got to get to work. However, my other goal, which is the 3 make 9 boards that I have got a little bit of progress. So I have now finished 2 of my works in progress for my works in progress board, 3 for my socks board, and then 3 of them off of my gift board. So that's really fun. I am working through my make 9 boards, and I'm really happy with the progress and happy to be able to check some things off on that. So let's move on to works in progress. I'm only going to be showing the works in progress that I have actually been working on, like actively knitting on. If you go to my Ravelry project page, you will see a lot of current whips. I am trying to work through my whips. That's why one of my Make 9 boards is just a whips board. And then one of them is just socks that are already cast on. But I'm not going to show all of them because I haven't done anything on some of them in, like, some of them it's been over a year since I've touched them. So I'm only going to show my active whips. So the first one I'm going to show is in one of my Christmas presents for my mom. This is from Bags by Awesome Granny. I love this bag so much, and it is perfect. This is what my blanket was living in. And as soon as I finished that, I immediately transferred this project over to it. And it has a matching Notions bag, which has been so helpful because this is my Weekender, which is a sweater pattern by Andrea Mowry. Trying to make sure I'm showing you the front. I do have it turned correctly. So you knit it with the knit side facing out, but it eventually gets turned inside out and you wear it with the reverse stockinette showing. So this is what I have knit so far. Oh, sorry, way too high. I'm so out of practice. That's the front. And then this is the back. I think the last time, I couldn't even tell you the last time you guys saw this because I can't even remember the last time I worked on it before I took it out over spring break and was using this as my podcast knitting. So I would turn on a podcast each day and this is what I would knit on for the 45 minutes, hour, whatever that I was watching the podcast. I think when I measured it at the beginning of the week, I was at like 8 or 9 inches. And at the end of the week, I was at, I think, 12 inches. And I'm going to 16, which is a little bit longer than the pattern suggested or the pattern called for. But I do like longer sweaters. I am using Knit Picks Brava in the color Lady Slipper. And I'm loving this yarn. I'm loving, this project enough that I have already ordered another sweater quantity to make the DRK Everyday Sweater, which is another Andrea Mowry pattern. So as soon as I finish this one, I'm telling myself that as soon as I finish this one, I will cast on the other one. But this one is like not going to be done anytime soon. But I do have my next one ready to go. Sounds so silly now that I've said it out loud. That's my first one. That's getting lots of progress, or got lots of progress. My second whip that has been getting work is a whip that I'm not even sure you guys have ever seen. Oh, I don't think I said. I started my Weekender on August 20th of 2022. I am knitting the 60-inch bust, and I'm on a US 8 right now. Because my project page says I'm using 6s, 7s, and 8s. So I'm pretty sure I'm on 8s right now. So the next whip that's been getting attention is in a bag by the guy who sews, which is my husband. This is a coffee bag. I started this project, guys. I started this project on August 27th of 2021. That is not a mistake. I did not mean to say 2022. I started this project on August 27th of 2021. when we were in Pittsburgh that summer, when we went to one of the yarn stores, my best friend and I each of us found a skein of Emma's yarn, which we had never purchased before, that we both really enjoyed. And like, we both really liked the colorway. And shocker, the color that I chose was purple. This is called Mermaid Tavern. And then my best friend, I thought would pick a blue, but she didn't. She picked a pink. And we realized these like go together really well. So I was like, what if we split them? Sorry, this one's like really messy. Like, what if we split them and do kind of our own version of Mandy's Makings, share a pair. So you get 50 of the purple and 50 of the pink, and I get 50 of the purple and 50 of the pink. And we'll knit bestie socks. Well, I cast mine on first, August 27th of 2021. She cast on hers a couple months later. Her entire pair is done, and I only just finished the first sock this week. I'm using a tutorial that the Crazy Sock Lady put out on how to knit a share a pair, like how she manages the yarn as she goes up the sock. But this is what they look like. This is what the first sock looks like. So I didn't realize it until I was knitting it that this is basically the Cheshire Cat. So we're calling this the bestie socks, but also the Cheshire Cat socks. It's so fun. I did a Fishlets Kiss heel, which at the time was my go-to heel. That is not my go-to heel anymore. I use the OMG heel by Megan Williams. It has a progress keeper on it that says 9 3/4 from 3 by the Sea. I was counting off every 10 rounds like the Crazy Sock Lady does. I'll show you all of it. So on this first sock, I did the cuff and the toe in the purple and the heel in the pink. I have started the second sock. I did just barely. And I did the cuff in the pink. I'll do the heel in the purple and the toe in the pink so that they're just reverse of each other. But this is how far I've gotten on the second one. I'm using another progress keeper from 3 by the Sea that says Mischief Managed and has the footprints, kind of like the Marauders map from Harry Potter. This is what it looks like. I love it. I love Emma's yarn. I love how it's turning out. I'll go ahead and turn this inside out and show you because I did not cut the yarn. I would not have woven in the ends. The way the tutorial from the Crazy Sock Lady works is how to kind of wrap them around, how to wrap the ends around each other. So this is where I was carrying up the yarn. And it was really simple. And I'm pretty sure I had the tutorial linked in my Ravelry project page. But if I don't, note to Editing Amanda, make sure that video is linked in the project page. So yeah, these are super fun. The striping is not very hard at all. I'm not sure why these got put down and never picked back up. Because that's the story of my life. Cast on all the things, finished none of the things. My goal, since we're going back to Pittsburgh this summer, is to have that finished so that I can wear them up there. Which I know that sounds like I'm giving myself until July, but I really would like them finished before then. But that is the idea, is for me to have those done when we go back to Pittsburgh this year. So my next whip that is getting attention is in a bag from 3 by the Sea Designs. You notice the theme. A lot of 3 by the Sea stuff. Pretty much if Kim and her mom and sister post it on their Facebook page, I'm going to buy it. And I actually have an acquisition to show you in a second that's from them. This is so I'm knitting a wallop cowl using the 3 Tulips Yarn Co. February Advent that I opened in the vlogs the first week and second week of February. It was Valentine themed and I absolutely loved it. And so this was color number 1. It's a little, I started a project, frogged it because I didn't like how it was looking, and decided I was just going to go with a wallop cowl, which is what I did at Christmas. And I loved it. I loved the process. I loved the pattern. So I just realized I don't have my needle stopper on. I get really nervous putting projects in bags if I don't have something that will hold the needles together. I don't know why, but anyway, I just put this on. Just slides, the needles just slide in. But this is color number 1. It's this beautiful purple and pink speckle. The next color is a solid pink. Then it's a pink and red speckle. Then it's a solid red. And then it's a red and orange speckle. And then a solid orange. And it goes through the rainbow that way. And it circles back to a solid purple. And I was like, well, that just screams wallop cowl to me, because the wallop cowl is knit around and then you join, you 3 needle bind off the ends together. The only thing about the wallop cowl in December that I did not enjoy was unpicking and picking up the provisional cast on. It stressed me out. I used the wrong yarn. I am not great at picking up stitches. They were laddering down on me really badly. Just was not a good time. And I was like, there has to be a way to knit, to start a provisional cast on without waste yarn and without like a crochet. Like there has to be a way to have it like on, somebody has to have figured this out. And I went looking and I couldn't find what I wanted. And then I went looking and I found a picture tutorial, but that is not how my brain works. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have to do this on waste yarn. That's so disappointing. And I kept putting off starting it because I was like, I don't want to do the provisional cast on. Like there has to be something that I can do instead of a provisional cast on. And so last Sunday during one of the breaks in the knit-a-thon, one of the Zoom breaks where I was, you know, not like on the camera watching a presenter, I just went and looked one more time. And I was like, one more time, let me go to YouTube and see if I can find it. And as soon as I typed it in, it was the second video that popped up. And I was like, how have I missed this? But it was super simple to follow. It is so easy. I will have that linked in my project page as well on Ravelry. And if you can't access Ravelry, I know I've said a lot of my stuff is on there. If you can't access Ravelry, please send me an email and I will send you all the links that you need. But the tutorial that I found did a provisional cast on with the needles that you knit with and a spare cord. So when I get, you know, when I've knit all 14, when I've knit all 14 colors and I'm ready to graft this thing together with the 3 needle bind off, is it grafting? We'll go with that. When I'm ready to join it together, all I have to do is put a needle on one end and it's already on cords ready to go for the 3 needle bind off. Genius. I love people that are smarter than me who can figure this kind of stuff out. So good. Oh my gosh, y'all, can you just with the speckles, can we just enjoy these speckles for a minute? So this is now, the blanket was my mindless knitting in the evenings. This is now my mindless knitting in the evenings. I am so excited. For the other wallop cowl, sorry for the clinking now that I have this on. For my other wallop cowl, she gave 3 options for what to do in your transition of the colors. And I did, excuse me, my allergies are not fun today. I did the eyelet one. And I'm wondering if this one I want to do something different. So I was thinking I might do a slip stitch. So knit one, slip one, knit one, slip one, knit one, slip one all the way around, and then join in the next color so that it's not exactly the same as the wallop cowl I just did, but still has a fun transition between the colors. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about what I'm going to do. But next podcast, hopefully you'll see more colors and I'll be able to tell you what I picked. So that is, oh, that's not my last one. I have to go grab my other work in progress. BRB. Okay, I'm back. Even though to you guys, it looked like I never left. Isn't that amazing? The loveliness of computer. What is that? What is the phrase that I'm looking for? The magic of television. There it is. That's what I was looking for. So this last work in progress that I'm going to show you is in a bag by 3 by the Sea. This was their Ukraine fundraiser last year. It's beautiful sunflowers and the colors of the Ukrainian flag, and it has a beautiful sunflower progress keeper. I am knitting, I'm doing a test knit for Kimber of Kimber's Cozy Creations. I have on my list that I want to knit Daria, who is our exchange student, a pair of socks, another pair of socks before she leaves in June and goes back home. And she had picked out some yarn when we were up in Rhinebeck. She had picked a skein of yarn from Fiber Optic, and it is their Opal colorway. And it's their cashmere base, which is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. And so when Kimber posted on, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, that she was going to be having a test knit, I was like, oh, that's perfect, because it's called the Making Waves pattern. And we live in coastal Virginia near the beach. And so that to me just sounded perfect to send Daria home with a pair of socks that were kind of ocean themed. And test knits, I love doing test knits. I think it's really fun to support other designers and makers. And I love a good deadline. Like, I'm so motivated by deadlines. So I was like, let's go ahead and just volunteer and we'll see what happens. And Kimber chose me, which I was super grateful for. This is what the yarn looks like caked up. It's this beautiful pale purple with these blues and light blues and light greens. I love it. I went ahead and cast on both socks. And the pattern is, I'm sorry, I'm like all tangled in here. The pattern is toe up, which is not how I usually knit my socks. I've only ever knit one pair of toe up socks before this. I'm enjoying it though. I'm not sure why I don't knit more. I think just because, oh my gosh, the tangle. Sorry, I'm not even going to attempt to untangle these. I think I just got used to doing them cuff down. And so that's just become my go-to. But I do like knitting them toe up. So anyway, this is the Making Waves pattern. I have done 2 repeats. I'm not marking 10 rounds. I'm marking repeats on here. So I've done 2 repeats. You can see it's very, I don't know. I think it's fun. And it looks like waves, making waves. There is a progress keeper, my little lamb from 3 by the Sea. This is what it's a like stockinette on the bottom of the foot. So you can see all of those color changes are just very subtle, but very pretty. And so I've started both. I just have the toe of the second one. This one has a little bunny rabbit from 3 by the Sea Designs. But my plan is to knit them in tandem. So I knit the toe of this one, knit the toe of this one. I'm going to knit the foot of this one and then knit the foot of this one. And then I'll do heel, heel, leg, leg, cuff, cuff. Kimber asked that we have one sock finished by April 18th. So I am hopeful that I can get both socks done by April 18th. I do find that I knit them faster when I knit them in tandem. So I'm hoping that proves to be true and that I can knit them faster. I started those on March 31st, which was Friday. And the pattern is going to be released on April 22nd. So if you are interested in it, or if you don't follow Kimber on Instagram, she is such a beautiful yarn dyer, and this is going to be such a fun pattern for her when she releases it. So again, Kimber's Cozy Creations, I will have her link down below. But if you don't follow her on Instagram, give her a follow. She has a YouTube channel as well. But she's great. I'm loving doing a test knit for her. It's been really fun. So those are my current whips. Again, I have many more. Only showing the current ones. So let's talk acquisitions. So I thought I had way more acquisitions than I did. For some reason, I was like, oh, I've bought so much. This section's going to be so long. And then I looked and I was like, oh, it's not actually that bad. I don't know if my husband would say it's not that bad. I'm going to say it's not that bad. So the first, well, I have no idea what order these came in, but I'll just show them to you in the order I have them written down. So my first one is from Brianna, who is the Little Wolf Knits. Sorry, guys. The first one is from Brianna, who is the Little Wolf Knits. I am in the Love and Stitches membership, and she did a custom dye session with the members on Zoom. Brianna did, and she called the yarn Love and Speckles. The what's the word? The like picture she used. I forget what you would call that. It's not the priority picture. I have no idea what it's called. If you know what I'm talking about, please leave it down below because it's going to drive me crazy until I figure it out. The picture that she used to pull the colors from was a picture of the New York City skyline at sunset. And this is the colorway. It is stunning. I just think this is so beautiful. And I am going to join in with several of the members in knitting a Musselburgh hat out of this because I just think it's going to look so pretty as a Musselburgh hat. And I think it's going to be super neutral, but also interesting next winter and fall. I love this. It's just so pretty to me. So this is going to be a Musselburgh hat. This is Love and Speckles by Brianna Lupino, who is the Little Wolf Knits. I'm going to open this drawer and put it in there because I like podcasting over here because when I'm done, I can just put my yarn away. Because this is fingering weight that is not going to be socks. And since I already know that that's going to be a hat, put that in there. So that's the first one. The second colorway, or the second thing that I ordered, was a mystery skein from 3 by the Sea. You guys all should have received this already because I got this a while ago. But if you ordered the Wizard of Oz colorway from 3 by the Sea and you have not gotten it yet, fast forward. You may want to fast forward a little bit. I love the Wizard of Oz. It is one of my favorite movies. It is one of my favorite stories. Like anything that has to do with the Wizard of Oz, I am all in. And so when Kim posted that their March mystery skein was going to be Wizard of Oz themed, I was like, there's no question. I'm doing that. And Kim did not disappoint. It is stunning. So this is the colorway. It's called Off to See the Wizard. Is that not? I mean, look at that. I mean, it is just so beautiful. And then the mini skein is called Emerald City. It's a 75/25. Absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. So this will 100% be a pair of socks. I am going to knit these at some point in the future. We'll open this up and drop this in there. If it'll go, it may not even go because this is super full. Okay, we may have to use this one. But in the future, that will be an absolutely beautiful pair of socks. It did come with a Progress Keeper that is a poppy, which is perfect because the field of poppies. Fun fact, in the movie, when Dorothy, Toto, the Tin Man, Lion, and Scarecrow fall asleep due to the poppies, well, the Tin Man doesn't fall asleep, but when they fall asleep in the poppy field sent by the Wicked Witch, and Glinda sends snow to counteract the like effect of the poppies on them, the snow that they used in the film was actually pure asbestos. As you do. Just raining pure asbestos on them because they didn't know. Yeah. And the guy who played, I have all the fun facts. The guy who played the Tin Man, this has come undone. So let me see if I can rescan this really fast. I probably can't. The guy who was originally supposed to play the Tin Man had an allergic reaction to the makeup. And so they ended up going with someone else. And the woman who played the Wicked Witch ended up having her skin dyed green for a little while because of the green makeup. Told y'all, quite a bit obsessed. Anyway, this next skein of yarn is just super sweet to me. My husband went to the Mid-Atlantic Quilt Show when Daria and I were at school doing show week stuff because we were originally going to go with him, but we were building and painting set pieces. And so when he came home from the quilt show, he was like, I got you something. And I was like, what could you get me at a quilt show? On the Eastern Shore, there is a yarn dyer called Chincoteague Colors. Chincoteague is a northern Eastern Shore city. I have bought yarn from them before at Maryland Sheep and Wool, but I made my mom a shawl with it. But Sean bought me, this is called Pokeberry. It's 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% sparkles. And it is beautiful purple and sparkly, and I love it. And it says, the pokeberry plants are found on Assateague and Chincoteague Islands. The deep purple berries in the fall serve as food for birds, foxes, and other wildlife. And I just thought that was so sweet that he was at the quilt show for himself and managed to find something fun for his wife. And is that not like just gorgeous? I mean, look at that, like tonal, but not really. And it's sparkly. Yeah. He said he thought that would make a really pretty pair of socks for me. And he is correct. It will make a very pretty pair of socks. Okay, so the last thing, forgive the crinkling. I kept it together until I podcasted. I love Ginger Snap Yarns. And they were doing a grab bag. I think it was in February now, because I've had these for a while. And they've just been sitting here waiting. They are Canadian dyer. They have beautiful, beautiful colors. And they were doing a grab bag. And it basically came out to like buy two, get one free, essentially. It might have even been more of a discount than that. And I was like, okay, well, yes, like I'm going to need that. All of these, I believe, are 75/25 in their dust fingering weight. But this one is called Weather. So a grab bag simply means that I didn't know what I was getting. I was like, Just send me 3 colors and I will very likely love them, which I do. So this is called Weather. It's got some like beautiful speckles in there, but it's this gorgeous teal color, which I love. This one is called Lake Shore, and it's this really, really pale green with like these absolutely gorgeous speckles, which I love. Speckled yarn. And then this one, again, sorry for the crinkling. This one is called, oh, now we looked it up all that long time ago and I can't remember how to pronounce it. Phlogiston? Phlogiston? Anyway, I apologize. But it is this really pretty brown, but it's got like orange speckles there. And then there's some orange speckles up here on this lighter part. It's just, I would, like, I want to knit a pair of socks out of each of these and then wear the heck out of them. You know what I mean? Like, I just, yeah, I love all of these. I might knit this one for Sean just because this brown would look really good when he's going to work. These actually would not be a terrible color for my mom. The teal is all me. So, yeah, that's it for acquisitions. I'm going to put these back in here because I feel like that drawer has to be reorganized because it's gotten really full, as it does. So that is it for yarny content. I'm going to do a little bit of life stuff, which I've kind of been sprinkling in here, but I'll do a little bit of life stuff and then that's it. So if you're not here for the life stuff, I totally understand. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for coming back. If you bore with me through my little hiatus, and I am hoping to record more consistently as we go through April and May and the end of the school year. But yeah, let's talk about life stuff. So what am I reading? I have been a struggling reader lately. I keep starting books and not wanting to finish them. I get like 50 pages into them and then I'm just super bored and don't want anything to do with it. So I've started a whole bunch of books, but I haven't made it very far. I'm not sure what's going on because usually I read, like, I don't like abandoning books, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on with me. I did start a new book that I am very hopeful for. It's by Ellery Adams and it's called Murder in the Mystery Suite. It's the start of an 8-book series about a book-themed resort in the mountains of Virginia. So fingers crossed I can get through this series and enjoy it and get back to reading more consistently because I miss it. Like I like reading. I don't know. I don't know what's going on for me. I get to the end of the day and my brain hurts and I've just had so much going on each day. What is that hair doing? That all I really want to do is scroll Instagram reels and that's not helpful. I want to read. Daria and I started watching Big Bang Theory. She has seen the entire series. I haven't seen any of it. I don't think I've seen a single, well, not anymore. I can't say that. But before this, I don't think I had seen an episode all the way through. So we went and started watching it on HBO Max and I like it. I think it's as good as I thought it would be, which is nice. I like it. It's really fun. And then we are big White Sox fans here in this house. So baseball season has started. And we have been watching the games that we can see on MLB TV. We're very happy with how the season has started and we are hopeful. I said the same thing last April and look how that turned out. But if you're a baseball fan, let me know what team you what team you root for down below. We are White Sox fans and anybody who's playing the Yankees. That's how it works. We're the White Sox always. And then if you beat the Yankees, we like you. We like you too. Our adventures with Daria, show week was a huge adventure. She was a big part of the sets and props and helping with the shows, during that weekend. And that was great having that time with her. And being able to spend, like experience that with her. That was really fun. We took her to the Living Museum, which is near us. It's about an hour, like 45 minutes, an hour away. And it's a different type of museum. It's more like a animal rehabilitation center, maybe. But they have a lot of like local animals. So it's not a zoo where they would have lions and tigers, but like animals that are native to our area or to the state of Virginia, and does a lot of education and teaching about them. And so it's one of our favorite places to take our exchange students. And she really enjoyed it because she loves all things animals. And then, as I said at the beginning, we went to DC yesterday, Washington, DC. We went to the American History Museum. Is that what it's called? Yeah. Why does that feel wrong? No, I think that's right. The American History Museum, which is one of the Smithsonian museums. And then we walked the monuments, and I did. Nobody else did. Which is bitter. Makes me a little better, I'm not going to lie. School has been crazy. As spring is. I don't see it lessening at all, but that's fine. I'm not expecting it to. I know how spring goes. We have 9 weeks of school left, which is bittersweet for me. I love my summer vacation, but it does mean that my time teaching my 8th graders is coming to a close. I teach at a small private school, so I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade English. So most of the 8th graders I have taught for 3 years. And so it's always bittersweet for me to go into summer vacation knowing that my time with them is over. Plus, I've got a lot of kids in that grade that are the youngest of their family. And so I've taught their older siblings and, kind of gotten close with their parents and close with the families. And then, this is it. So I'll cry if I think about it too much. So we'll just save those tears for the end of the year. I am going to chaperone the 8th graders trip to Boston again this year. I went last year, and I know I talked about it on the podcast. So that's really fun because it's, towards the end of the year, and it's a week-long trip to Boston. And it's just, it's nice to have that time right at the end of the school year to kind of celebrate with them after teaching them for 3 years. So that's really it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else major that we have coming up. Daria leaves I believe it's the 2nd week of June. So we've kind of been talking about that and getting ready for that. Not too much because we don't want it to overshadow what we're doing now, obviously, but we do have our next exchange student lined up. I don't think I've even mentioned that on here. We have been matched with our next exchange student. We are getting a young man this time. So I'm going to be a boy mom. No clue how to do that. All of our exchange students have been girls. So if you are a boy mom and you have any tips, write down below. Help a sister out. His name is Simon, and he is from the Czech Republic. He is a big tennis player, which I think is very fun. And he wants to come over. His older brother did a year in the exchange program and was in Texas. So it'll be interesting to hear some stories of like what his brother did while he was here versus what Simon gets to do while he's here. Because, obviously we're not going to do the same things. We're in 2 different parts of the country. And And so once summer hits, we'll start gearing up for that and getting things ready for Simon's arrival in his year with us. I don't know what else to tell you. I think that's it. I'm racking my brain. I've done everything that was in my notes. So I think that means I am done. And there is a White Sox game that is starting soon. So I'm going to go and grab my knitting. I'm not sure what I'm going to knit, probably my test knit, and get started on that and then get ready to go back to school tomorrow. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for hanging in there with me through what I think is going to end up being a pretty long episode, looking at what that timestamp says, and for hanging in there during my hiatus. I really appreciate, again, those of you who reached out and checked on me. Yeah, we're good, just busy. That's what I kept replying with. I hope whatever you are knitting or crocheting or sewing brings you all the joy in the world, and that as you look outside your window and you see spring popping up outside, you remember that God's mercies are new every morning, and that spring is the reminder that He's here and loving us and celebrating our lives with us, no matter what's going on. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next one. Happy knitting!